we, through the years, have collected the top questions that we receive on Social Security. Here's just a couple of questions that we get, and then I know that we're going to cover in the Smart Social Security Blueprint classes, which are coming up. The number one question, David, you know it. Here it comes. David, will Social Security be there when I get there?
You know, people always get nervous. Hey, it's going to run out of money, et cetera. Well, in reality, for that to happen, our country has to literally be defunct. There is zero political will. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party, any politician that unfortunately is not going to be term limited wants to do one thing, get reelected. Mm-hmm. And what they don't want to do is take away a benefit or an entitlement, if you want to call it that, from the biggest voting bloc in American history, baby boomers, those that are typically the most concerned. So as I taught you many years ago, the political hacks, if you will, on both sides of the aisle like to use these talking points and fear,
yes, they do,
to scare constituents to vote one way or the other by promising more benefits, saving benefits, et cetera. But they never actually get into the actuarial math. And again, I could solve Social Security in literally 3 minutes, but I'm not going to give that away today, but that'll be another video. But I like to describe it, and you've done a great job of taking that. And I kind of like picture a barbell, right? A big weightlifter's got a huge rack of weights on there on each side and a long bar in between, where you kind of describe the size of generations. Because baby boomers, which are the generation just ahead of you and I are just in the next generation called Gen X, we're less than half the size of the boomer generation. And people don't understand it. That's significant. So that means in just a few years, in just 5 years, we'll have dropped from 14,000 people drawing Social Security a day to under 4,500 a day on average going onto the system. That is a lot of relief coming just around the corner. But yeah, we do have some fiscal problems to fix in the meantime. But anyway, so I would tell you, if you're scared of Social Security being discounted, now that's a real possibility. But if you're scared of it ever going away, you really need to attend this class and watch Sean explain what we call the barbell theory so you can understand and have confidence that your benefit will be there. Will there be changes to it? Probably so, if we have any politicians with any kahunas, so to speak, to make some structural changes. But I don't think there's a dollar going away from anybody over the age of 55 today.
Yes, and that barbell talk is one of my favorite because it's very eye-opening. I noticed that people in the class are definitely taking notes as we talk about that. The second question, David, again, you've heard this a million times in your long career. When should I take Social Security? So we know we cover the basics, obviously. The earliest you can take it is 62. The latest you can take it at 70. But how many combinations are there?
I believe the last I counted, if you're a married couple, over 536 different combinations, et cetera. So can be a little intimidating. And the odds that you select the exact month and date to turn on, if you're married, both Social Securities and get the maximum benefit by your death, the odds, there was a statistician that did it. It's less than 1/10 of 1%. You'll pick it.
To get it right. So the whole Social Security planning decision, we don't leave that to chance. It's another thing that we talk about in the workshop. And one of the benefits of coming to the workshop, David, you made available to everybody that comes a free Social Security maximization report. And so I have a couple of pictures of that in the seminar. I'll walk people through that. That's you're graciously offering that to anybody that comes to it. We can, as long as we have what I call their blue bar report, it just takes me about 3 minutes to enter in that data and give them a very powerful report.
And it's eye-opening for a lot of people. At least they have more okay, now I understand. Because many people don't even know. They've never logged into and by the way, if you've never logged in, ssa.gov, right? Log in, create an account, establish your account, because you may also, sadly find errors. I had an error in my Social Security reporting, so it shows you your earning history every year you filed a tax return in the U.S., so you can go all the way back. The other thing I think it's really important is to show the power of inflation. I often like to just flip that over and show them their earnings history, because when they tell me that, I won't need, they tell me I can live on $40,000 a year, and
Good point.
They're making 120 now, and I'm like, no, you're not going to be able to live on 40. And so I go back and show them what they were earning, in 1987 on their earnings report, and I'm like, hey, you made $18,000 and you felt good about it that year, right?
Yep.
the reality is you're going to need more money because of inflationary pressures, and that's a great way to visually show people what they earned through their working career and how inflation rose their wages over time. But anyway, just a helpful point when you're coming to the income planning portion of a smart plan.
Yep, and just for time purposes, I'm going to skip ahead. You taught me a great example that you've done more than once in your career. How can I increase my Social Security? And what I'm getting at is that wonderful example that you taught me of a business owner that was taking income the wrong way. What did you recommend to him to actually pump up the volume on his Social Security, David?
Well, there's a couple of ways to help entrepreneurs, business owners that are in control of their own paycheck, so to speak, potentially save on taxes and or increase Social Security, in particular if they have a spouse and that spouse is also an employee of said company. So we had a physician, and his wife ran the practice, was the office manager. He was the physician, but he was 6 years older, and he was being paid a healthy wage beyond the Social Security max. So he maxed out how much he has to pay in Social Security, but he's not adding. And then he got to full retirement age, which is 67. His wife was actually just turning 60, so she still had 7 years of runway on her earnings history. So he simply had them flip who got paid how much money. Now, it's increased her compensation to the Social Security limit and decreased his compensation because he was not adding, even though he was paying payroll taxes, he was not going to add 1 penny of additional benefit. That's the way the system works. And if you don't know this, this is why I always say you don't know what you don't know. So by flipping the switch, we got them an estimated additional $40,000 over their lifetime in Social Security benefits from the exact same tax bill they were paying.
That's significant. And that's the reason why, our strong suggestion is that you'd work with a team that does this every day.
And it takes a team, right? Yeah. You are literally our authority in-house here on Social Security. But then we have estate planning. We have Mike Schutel, the advisor, sits in the conference room next to you. Then we have to talk about, charitable giving, plan giving. We have Jacob Oren, financial advisor, one conference room over. Digital assets. We talked to Brad Starkett. We've got a hall full of highly qualified, licensed fiduciary-based advisors that all specialize in one topic or another to bring that cohesiveness and that team approach to help people get the best solution possible. And then my forte and that specialty is the tax planning, which is really critically important when it comes to Social Security planning, because not only do we want to maximize it, we want to optimize it. And that sometimes Social Security making the wrong decision can be a $50,000 taxable mistake because you don't understand how you're taxed on Social Security, which you cover in the class, right?
I love it. No, we have a running joke among the advisors that are blessed to work here that our job is to translate into English what you've taught us. You talk really fast. I love that about you.
That's weird.
I slow down, and I use the whiteboard a lot to draw simple pictures and make sure that clients understand everything that we're doing. Do we have time for one quick one more?
Yeah, let's fire one more. Why not?
Quick one. Can my non-working spouse qualify for any Social Security, Mr. Brooks?
Absolutely, but there is a couple of criteria. So first off, if you've been married to that non-working spouse for 10 years, they will qualify for what's called a spousal benefit. But let's say it's late, and so they're going to get basically half of your full retirement age benefit, or if you took Social Security early, there's a discount to that, can be as great as 40%. So,
ouch.
So again, don't just make this decision. But yes, you can qualify if you've been married with a longevity kicker in there. There is another way, and a lot of people are surprised about this, Sean, is we have a lot of folks, my parents are included in that were remarried, right? Some of them multiple times. First off, there's a difference between before 60 and after 60 decisions for divorcees,
yes, there are.
Right, and widowers. I'm not going to get into that today. It's too complex. But a lot of people don't know that if you had a late in life marriage and the survivor maybe didn't have Social Security or had a very small benefit. For instance, my mom only has about a $400 benefit. She lived outside the country for many years and didn't earn anything. So I'm literally constantly trying to talk my parents into getting remarried 54 years later.
Yeah.
But because my dad has almost a $3,000 Social Security benefit, and if they were married for just 1 year, Sean, and my dad were to pass away, she would keep the larger check. Only need to be married for 12 consecutive months for that to apply. And most people don't know that exists.
Yeah.
So again, you don't know what you don't know. If you're curious about Social Security, if you're anywhere within 3 to 5 years of drawing Social Security, I highly, highly encourage you to come to this class if you've not attended. When is this going to be, Sean?
Once again, yes, it's coming up this next week, Tuesday, June 3rd or Thursday, June 5th, 6:30 p.m., the Midwest Learning Center right here on our campus. You can call 402-369-7777 to register, or go on our website, retiresmartnow.com. We'd love to see you there.
Be sure and comment if you have questions about things like Social Security. If you're looking for more content like this, make sure you check out all our other videos. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss out on new content as we publish it, helping you retire smart.